Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session for a healthy change. So I was working with a client that had various areas in their life that they wanted to change, but they felt conflicted. There was a part of them that definitely did want to make the change, but another part really didn't know what life would be like if they made that change. And a lot of the time, people will stick to habits, not because they really even enjoy the habit, but it gives them an illusion, a perception of being in control, that they may not be able to control the world outside of their reality, but that habit that they do, which might be eating, smoking, drinking, whatever it might be, is within their control because they can control when they do it, how much they do it, how they do it. All these things give a perception of control. And control tends to be the antidote to anxiety, to boredom, to stress. It ticks so many boxes if someone is going through a difficult period. What you're going to hear in this particular session is an element of future pacing to the point of threshold. Now, if you've heard the phrase, the straw that breaks the camel's back, it's a horrible phrase, but what it really means is that, to paint a picture, if you had a camel, if you kept putting straw, let's say even just like tiny amounts on a camel, it will reach a point where that gets so heavy that the camel can't take it anymore. And that's a really good metaphor for the point of threshold. And most people in their life have had a moment where they reach the point of threshold unintentionally. Something happened, and it might have been a near miss, or it might have been a health scare, or it might have been something else where it became enough is enough, no more. And when you get to that point of threshold, incredible change is possible. So part of the role of a hypnotherapist is to detect when a client isn't at that point yet. And quite often they're not. They want to make a change, but they're not at the point where they're ready to make a change. And there is a phrase called inciting motivational change. And what really that means is that the therapist can lead them to the point of threshold where they are then ready to make that change. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is an element of imagining a future where that change can be made. If you're listening to this, to get the best out of this session, I would encourage you to do two things. One, think of a very, very specific area in your life that you would like to make a change, acknowledging that you still do that thing for now. And then when you listen to this hypnosis session, think, what would it take? What would have to happen in order for you to get to that point of threshold, the point where the straw does break the camel's back and enough is enough, and you would never do that anymore from that point onwards. And by doing that, even if some of the suggestions and references don't quite relate to you, by thinking about the change you'd want to make and what it would take to get you to that place where change is possible, this session will be a lot more beneficial. If you would like to work with me one-on-one to make a change, maybe it's a habit, feels like an addiction, feels like you've tried many times and you can't get to that point of change, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a completely free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And you exhale. Just release any feelings of tension around your eyelids, eyebrows and forehead, and feel that tension leave your body in your outward breath. Breathing in and breathing out, and notice as you slow down your breathing, you start to feel more comfortable, more relaxed. The deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. As you breathe in deeper, just imagine breathing in a glowing light that represents resourceful relaxation. As you exhale, imagine a darker color, grey, shadowy, leaving your body in your outward breath, representing any of those things you're letting go of. Stress, tension, anxiety, or maybe echoes of emotions from many years in the past that have just been lying there in the background. So as you breathe out, feel that now is the time to let them go. Breathing in the bright vibrancy, relaxing resourcefulness, exhaling whatever your body doesn't need. As your body relaxes, your mind awakens. And I want you to imagine a large park on a sunny day, blue skies, and maybe a large area of water. Maybe it's an outdoor paddling pool or pool, maybe a lake, maybe something else. I want you to imagine that the surface of the water is almost choppy, like mini waves, and allow the turbulence on the surface of the water to represent active thinking, intrusive thoughts. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel that choppiness on the water is becoming less and less until it looks so calm, it's as still as a piece of glass, perhaps reflecting the blue skies and the occasional white fluffy cloud above. Breathing in and breathing out. Imagine feeling full of energy, clarity. Imagine feeling in this place you don't need anything else. As long as you can breathe in and breathe out, your body has everything it needs. Notice how good it is to breathe in fresh, clean air. As you do so, imagine that every breath of fresh air is somehow healing and cleaning your lungs. Perhaps you can remember at least one time emptying a bag from a vacuum cleaner, seeing it full of dust and small objects. I want you to imagine, as you breathe in and breathe out, you are healing your lungs. And there are things that you can do to make your lungs even healthier. The better quality food you eat, the more water you drink, and the more fresh air you breathe, the quicker your lungs will fully heal to the best they can possibly be. I want you to imagine, for some reason, there is a reclining chair or sofa there in that park, there in nature. It shouldn't be there. The kind of chair that should be in a home. But imagine there is that soft, comfortable, reclining chair there out in nature. Imagine placing yourself on that chair. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're sinking into that chair, letting go of any tension. As I count down from 10 to 1, with each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper and deeper relaxed to a place where change happens. 10, focusing on the muscles around your eyes. Breathing in, breathing out, letting that tension go. 9, focusing on the muscle there in your jaw. Picturing it going from your ear to your chin. And just imagine loosening all muscles around your mouth, jaw, cheeks. That's it. 8, now focusing on the muscles in your neck and your shoulders. Then just imagine seeing the intricate shapes of crystals of ice, but imagine them locked into your muscle tissue. But here on this sunny day, out in nature, feel that the sun is melting away that tension and stress locked in your muscle tissue. Just like snowflakes melting under the sunshine. That's it. 7, now focusing on the weight of your arms. Just feel your arms getting limp, loose, heavy. That's it. Imagine your arms much like the arms of a puppet with no strings. They're there but don't move, just feel limp, loose, heavy. 6, as you breathe in there on that chair out in that park, feel that even your internal organs are relaxing. As you breathe in, your heart relaxes, lungs relax. Feel that your diaphragm, that muscle responsible for hiccups, relaxes. And as it relaxes, you breathe even deeper. That's it. 5 goes to 4. Shift the focus now into your gut. And really feel that any anxiety, any tightness there in the gut is just melting away. Like a child's ice cream under the sun. Feel it melt away. And feel that relaxation spreading down into your legs. Legs like the arms, limp, loose, heavy. 4 and then 3 and then 2. Just feel like there in that park, on that chair, you're drifting off into a place deep in your imagination where change happens. 2 and then 1. Just feel like you're drifting off. And I want you to go back to a time in your life where you made a decision that drastically improved the quality of your life. It wasn't a resolution, wasn't an intention. This was a decision where you were someone different before that point in time and became someone different after that point in time. And I want you to go back to the memory, but observe yourself like you're looking at someone else. And if you can see the point where change happened, perhaps you were a smoker before that point and a non-smoker afterwards. Or maybe it was a different change in your life, equally impactful. But if you could observe a memory like that, let me know by nodding your head. And as you observe that version of you, I want you to get a sense that certain things require effort, like willpower and discipline. But I want you to get a sense that in that moment, the decision changed everything after. A true decision means that you become someone different, that doesn't need what you needed before. And in doing so, those things like discipline and willpower aren't as important as knowing who you are and why you did it. And as you observe that version of you, if you get a sense that you're aware of the change that took place and the reason for that change, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine stepping into that version of you so you become the memory there in your body at that time. And maybe there's a thought, something as casual as, enough is enough. That's it now, no more. Or maybe something different. But there was a thought and perhaps a vision of a future of how you change when this decision becomes ingrained into the history of your life. And if you feel you're at the point of making that decision again, but perhaps in a different area of your life, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine taking that feeling, that decisiveness, and going forwards in time and thinking of a change that you would like to make in your life. And maybe the reason for that is to improve your health. But maybe it's to give a gift to a granddaughter. I want you to go forward and imagine, again, observing someone that looks just like you, but in the future, doing something that would make a granddaughter proud or smile. Not saying the words, but doing the thing. Becoming the person without realizing that in that moment, the true gift that you're giving is the gift of inspiration, the gift of being a role model that maybe that little girl will need at a point in their life, perhaps many years in the future, at a time where they want to make a change. And sometimes the real benefit is a benefit you'll never see, but deep down you can just know. And I want you to observe that future version of you reaching the point of threshold, seeing the straw that breaks the camel's back, seeing that there is an evaluation. I don't need this, I don't want this, this isn't me. Or maybe looking at the balance of what you give and what you get. Maybe you can observe that future version of you where you get so little pleasure, and you know that making a change would give you the pleasure of knowing that you've given a gift to other people. You say the difference when a boy becomes a man is how they experience Christmas. It changes from what they get to what they give. And when they give something, and the emotion to other people is so profound, it makes them feel good. And if you can recall a time where giving something to other people made you feel good, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to think that the change in your future is not about you. You get the benefit of making a change by doing it for someone else. And I want you to imagine seeing, initially at first, you creating friction And you can call friction, barriers, obstacles, things that would reduce the consumption of perhaps unhealthy food or maybe vaping. Observe that future version of you. Perhaps making it that there are barriers, rules, locations or times. And I want you to see a version of you that reduces their consumption of something unhealthy by at least half. Not because this is the goal, it's just a stepping stone. A stepping stone to reach a point where you've got evidence that change is already happening, and therefore even more change is possible. I want you to see how you would create friction, how you would create those barriers. Maybe it's throwing some things away. Maybe it's setting yourself certain rules of where you vape, or times that you're allowed to eat certain foods. But I want you to see yourself doing it, not in a begrudging way, not in a I'm following a diet way, but in the kind of way that this is halfway to a form of freedom. Assign to yourself that if you can make this change, then even more change is possible. And if you can see that future version of you creating these small, insignificant changes that feel like they're taking your life in the right direction, let me know by nodding your head. And then perhaps go forwards in time. Maybe a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, where you feel that you can make a bigger change. Imagine making that change and sticking to that change, knowing that you've done it before, therefore you can do it again. You don't need it, you don't want it, and you get so much more value knowing that you're giving a gift to the people that you love. I want you to imagine it's been a year now, a year of certain changes, and go forwards in time and observe that version of you. Maybe you can see the smile of a slightly older granddaughter. And I want you to imagine you're in your body, hearing the words that you would want to hear from a granddaughter, that you made proud for making a change. And once you've heard those words, allow your mind to make the evaluation that it was worth it. The change was worth it. And maybe you could imagine hearing something else from someone else that also values the changes that you're making. And sometimes these changes have a ripple effect. More time, energy, and money for other things that again creates even more ripples, taking your life in a positive direction. If you get the sense that making a small change can lead to a bigger change, and making a bigger change can lead to more changes that take your life in the very direction that you desire, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. I want you to see that future version of you seems to be enjoying a better quality of life, seems more in control, but I want you to see that future version of you also with more energy, with more mental clarity. Some of the symptoms of a health condition bizarrely seem to have become less and less. I want you to get a sense that making good changes leads to good things. And if your unconscious mind is happy to accept, let me know by nodding your head. And then feel like you're returning to that place where you felt complete decisiveness. And maybe you activate some of this decisiveness now. Or maybe you wait for that point of threshold where the straw breaks the camel's back, that enough is enough. And when you make the change, the toothpaste can never return to the tube again because something is different. It's easy to crack an egg, but almost impossible to take a broken egg and put it back into the egg like nothing happened. I want you to get a sense that you're one decision away from a powerful, positive, irreversible change. That when the egg is cracked, there's no going back. And if your unconscious mind is now primed, ready to introduce friction, to reduce consumption as a stepping stone to a bigger decision, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then feel like you're returning to a comfortable chair in a park. Imagine leaving the chair, looking around. And imagine taking a paddle in some shallow water, feeling a sense that hope, optimism, a powerful positive change is now already in motion. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose and feel like you're returning to the present as you wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. As very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a sense of clarity, perhaps knowing why an imminent change is going to happen, but more importantly, believing that this change is now inevitable. It's just a case of when you decided. Breathing in, breathing out, returning to the present as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.